Hello everyone, or no one at all. Welcome to Minor Illusion and our 5th edition D&D campaign in the magical and dangerous world of Eretz Nakash. We are glad to have a full table tonight. Welcome back, Tom. We are moving on tonight from the last episode, which at the end of the episode, we were guaranteed a full session of looting, and nothing more than looting kobold bodies. So we've got that to look forward to tonight. Before we get into a recap, I want to say that the sounds, the music, the ambiance that you'll hear is from Syrinscape, and you can check them out at sirenscape.com. It is a great tool to use. I highly recommend it for your own games at your own table. So, having said that, I think we can dive into our recap. Previously in Eretz Nakash. As your battle with the 8 skeletons came to an end, you heard the door to that area close behind you. That sound was followed by another sound, the sound of several kobolds rebuilding the barricade that you had dismantled on the other side of the door, trying to seal you in to that part of the dungeon. The party's 2 Dragonborn warriors worked together to force the door back open in the campaign's first skill challenge. Eventually finding success, you took off after the fleeing kobolds and pursued them through one of the doors at the north end of the large entrance chamber, the one with all those pillars. Making your way down the hallway, you came to a locked door behind which the kobolds had taken shelter. Making use of Zeldreth's great axe and Taèlios' crowbar, you managed to chip away at the door around the lock plate and then break the lock plate and the lock along with it. Forcing the door open, you found several more kobolds waiting for you along with their chieftain. Once again, you proved to be too much for the kobolds and you quickly dispensed with all of them. The room itself contained more stacks of those silvery gray bricks, those dwarven stones that you've seen already, the ones that make up the royal palace of Alestria. And it also contained a treasure chest. Using one of the keys that hung around the kobold chieftain's neck, you unlocked the chest, and because of Taèlios' close inspection of the chest, you also managed to avoid a trap that was set into the locking mechanism. Inside the chest, you found quite a bit of copper and silver and gold and even some platinum, a small bag of gems, and a few other more interesting items, seemingly. A potion, a bundle of arrows, and a small bluish translucent glass sphere, about 5 inches in diameter. You ended up searching the rest of the hallway between the throne room and the entrance chamber after that, and we join you tonight still in that hallway. What would you like to do? And I've put you wherever. We didn't really have it specified, I don't think.
I think this was where we wanted to go down to this.
You had come down to that end to see what if there was anything there, if you could find anything. And you didn't. So we pick up right where we left off.
We got some looting to do, baby.
I want to drink a potion.
You're full health. You're not drinking anything.
Why should like poison?
That's pretty much anytime the party comes across a potion, the monk is just.
So we're on our way back out.
We didn't loot the bodies in here, I don't think.
No, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, I think we did.
We did.
Yeah, you did.
So did you write down all the money they got?
I got everything here.
We didn't loot
Because I have all the money from the rooms that we looted when we first.
Okay.
Sorry.
I
Do
feel
we
like you
wanna
counted it
take-
also.
Do we want to take like a short rest or a long rest here before we go? Like, I don't know if the coffin has anything in it, but
I say
a
we.
lot of us are super low.
I say
especially-
I'm fine with just skipping the coffin at this point.
Yeah, let's take a rest.
Do you think we should?
Should we do a
I
short
think,
rest?
I think it's smart to do just a short rest. Go back to the main room here, do a short rest,
we should lock these doors. And
just so some of us can regen, just in case there's something in there that would.
Do short rests give you spell slots back? I can't remember.
What you regain from a short rest is often very particular to your class, and that, depending on what you are. In general, I think in general, no, but there are exceptions. So I don't think you really regain your spell slots until you have a long rest, I believe. But I think there are some differences. I think maybe warlocks or sorcerers are different in that. I don't know. Do you recall?
I have no. It's been a long
This is
time
the
since
player's handbook.
I want to say
I don't know.
but I don't know for sure.
If you
I'm
go
in the classes right now.
if
so
you
she
go
can
to the
find
front, there's like an index, I think. If you go to the front, either that or the back, or there it is.
This is one of
I
the
might show you that.
challenges of jumping from 1E to 5E. I don't have all this stuff memorized.
So does that mean I should use Song of Rest?
You regain, okay, so for Sorcerer, you regain all expended spell slots when you finish a long rest.
So we pretty much need to do a long rest.
To get everything back. I mean, which we could also do a long rest. I
If
don't-
you want to get
Roughly all
everything,
our
if you want to get
HP
everything back, you're going to have a long rest. That would include your Barbarian's rages. He will not get his rages back on a short rest.
Well, if we're afraid that something's in the
I
coffin.
mean, we could do a long rest. It would be fine with me. Most
Before we open the coffin, or
I think we should do a
Before.
short rest.
because if there's something in there that's like time dependent, then we're kind of.
Oh, that's why I said short rest.
If nothing else, we should go to the room where the coffin
Yeah.
is to rest, so that nothing can
Well,
happen.
what if something comes out of it?
Then
How
we-
about I
Well,
just
something's
go
already out
and
of it.
defeat whatever's in the coffin? You guys can
Let's-
take a rest.
let's go to the room with the coffin, I'd say, and if we want to take a short rest, we can. But I don't think there's going to be anything. Like we can open the coffin and see what's in it before. It's not like we're going to have some.
We know there's no undead in it.
Yeah. And I
What,
mean,
and what else would be in it?
That's fine. We
unless
can
there's
go
like a
back to the-
stairway down.
we can go back to
I mean, Tom can open it because he's got full health. I'm going to stay on the back. 'cause
I
I've got
agree.
7.
I'll be up.
Doesn't
yeah.
someone have telekinesis or something? That we can...
Let's just take a short rest and then go to the coffin. A short rest is only like an hour or something.
An hour.
Yeah, we can do that.
Why don't we go towards that way though? Don't just stand over here. Why don't we head? Don't we have to go to the coffin room? Just be in like the hallway with the other rooms, and just be next to it so no one
It's
can
fine.
get
We can
through
do
us.
that. We can do that. So I guess we'll head to the head down the hallways. We can just rest in what those side rooms are.
Yeah, just in the rooms. Just I don't know, just in the
Um,
hallway so we can make sure no one goes through or anything like that.
I guess on the way there we'll loot all the kobolds that we left previously.
And watching out for the tripwires in the room. For like the second one, like I think the fourth pillar.
And
Okay.
in the hallway.
And the trap in the hallway, by the way.
Yep.
In this hallway?
No, he's saying the trap in
Yeah.
like the hallway.
Oh, okay.
There's multiple traps to avoid.
If you know of 4.
So you're going into the entrance hall, and you're looting.
We're gonna loot in the entrance hall and then go take a short rest in those side rooms that
Okay.
had all the gear.
Okay, so is someone ready to write this down?
Get
I'm not
them
going to make you roll for it. You can
All
search
right,
pouches.
I already
and
have a
stuff
list
like
of stuff that we've got.
Okay.
So.
We're just going to have to combine everything in.
that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you here covers all the bodies that are in the big entrance chamber, and also
in the
it's
hallway.
either one or two in the
There's
hallway.
a couple
I
in the
think.
hallway because
Yeah.
I got one.
Yeah, so this is all of that, okay? 75 copper pieces, 52 silver, and 32 gold. Now, what I didn't mention last time, too, that is also there, is their weapons,
Yeah.
which amounts on all of these to slings and stones and daggers.
We won't
So
keep
if
any of that.
you want a dagger, they're not pretty, but they're functional. So if you want to take a dagger and put it in your inventory, you can do that.
I already have one.
I had a crowbar this whole time.
We
Have
talked
you
about
used
last
it
time
for the
we-
dragon eyes?
It was-
tried to
No, I
use it.
didn't. He gave me a dagger. For
Yeah,
the
no,
dragon eyes.
he did that because the crowbar was too big and bulky. It
But you
didn't
had a
get it.
crowbar on you.
I don't have a dagger. I don't think so. I'll probably pick one.
That's fine.
Add
Just
it to your inventory.
so there's a bunch of them. So just add it to your inventory. If you're taking a dagger or two, just mark it on your sheet.
Like on the main sheet.
Yeah, on your item sheet there in your inventory.
More than enough daggers to go around.
It's a D4, right?
Yes.
Piercing damage.
And which room are you going to again? You're staying in the.
We're going down that hallway, and then we're gonna do our short rest in one of those side rooms.
Okay. If you want the map, it's out. Otherwise, we've
We
seen it
remember
before.
what it looks like.
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
good for now. It's piercing or no slashing, right?
No, a dagger is piercing.
Oh, piercing.
20/60 for the damage and type.
20, 60. So that's your throw range.
Mm.
Up to 20 for normal hit.
Which direction? Which direction is north in this? Do you remember? Okay, so we'll just stay in the. We'll just go do a short rest in the north side, closest to that door.
Okay.
There's 2 rooms, so the closest one to the
Okay.
to that special area.
Alrighty. So you're doing a short rest there.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you using hit dice? So this will be your first time doing that.
Yep.
If you have questions,
Yeah, you can use
we-
up to as many hit dice as you have,
Correct. So you each have 2.
Yep.
So you can
and you
use
regain 1 each long rest, right? 1 hit dice every.
half.
No,
You can regain half. So yes, in this case it would be 1, but it's always half.
You regain half of it.
What's a hit?
I just
dice?
read it. You
Up
regain
to
them all.
half.
Front there, you have
On a short
Hit
rest,
dice.
it's half
On
of your hit dice.
On
should
a
have
long
you-
rest, you
all this should
regain
have
half
two
of your
for
total hit
levels.
dice.
Okay.
No, I'm
On
saying,
a long, yes,
It's a D8,
I just
so
read
you
that
get a
you
D10.
regain
Yeah,
all
just
of your
do
hit
it
dice on
fast
long
and
rest.
just
hit
bullet.
points.
Oh, is that what it was?
You regain your hit points, but only up to half of your hit dice.
Oh, okay.
On a short.
On a,
A long.
so it's
Sorry.
confusing. No, it is on a long rest. You regain up to half of your hit dice. Those hit dice that you spent on a short rest. It takes a long rest to get those back. So that's how that works. So if you need to recoup hit points right now, then you can go ahead and roll hit dice. Whatever whatever dice you use to determine your hit points, that's what to roll for your hit dice, or for healing on a short rest. And you can also add your Constitution modifier each time you roll.
What bonus goes to the dagger?
That's 4
Like,
Constitution.
The attack bonus.
It's dexterity or strength, isn't it?
It's a finesse weapon, I believe, or yeah.
It goes with your dexterity. So your attack bonus can either be strength or dexterity. So do like this.
Yeah.
Look at mine. See how there's so I have no bonus for strength, but I have +3 for dexterity. So
You
do
can, sure.
your bonus for strength and then your bonus for dexterity.
Yep.
Because it's a finesse weapon, so in some situations.
You tell them
Why do I have +5 on my
And
longsword?
What are they gonna do?
because of
Plus
your,
3 strength plus your proficiency bonus.
Oh, it's plus. Do you do proficiency bonus on the dagger too?
yeah, you would be proficient with a dagger.
So it'd be +5 for both then. Because it'd be as an attack or as a strength, it'd be a +5, and as a
Assuming your
Yeah,
dexterity
so
was kind
so
They're the same. They're the same
okay,
bonus.
so a dagger is a finesse weapon, which means you can use your dex instead of your strength. That's why you can get a better, depending on.
But if
what
they're so my dex and strength are the exact
then
same.
it won't make any difference. But if you're throwing it, you would be using your dex.
As I'm using Song
And the
of
range
Rest.
is
Okay.
20 and 60.
I got it down already.
Okay.
Did anyone else hear
I
me
heard.
besides
I
Joshua?
heard you.
I heard you.
So how many people rolled hit dice?
Nobody will.
So does
I'm
everyone
gonna
know
do
what to do with Song of Rest?
Just you can tell them.
I don't know what it is.
Okay.
It's just ability.
Okay, so I'll explain it, and then you'll know for future reference. Anybody who is using hit dice right now to heal hit points, you can you're going to get some extra points, not per die, but just on top at the end you add it, and it's based on whatever Nyx rolls on a d6. So you're going to roll, and everyone who uses hit dice to heal will get also this many hit points.
Wait, why would be
Is
a
her
plus
roll
die
affected by
in
her
that?
bonus at all?
2 extra hit points if you use hit dice.
So you roll this plus your constitution bonus, right?
Yep.
Yes. Plus
And
2.
then once you've done that, at the end, add those 2 points, not per roll.
Okay. So 6, 8, so I'm back to max.
Okay, and I'm gonna use just 1 hit die.
Oh. Give me this pencil.
You want this one?
So yeah, just keep track of hit dice spent.
What your
Yeah,
hit
I already
dice
marked it
is,
down.
you know?
Okay.
Your hit- Oh, 1d12.
I forgot Daniel's 12 sided for hit dice.
Yeah, loser.
Barbarian.
Ready?
You know what this is? You know what this is for?
Just roll it in that.
Watch till I get a 1 now.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
11.
There you go.
You're welcome. All right. What's the roll?
So how much do you
If
get?
do
you
that
only
at
roll a 2,
That means I get 13 health back, right?
You get plus your constitution.
11, 12, 13,
Oh, Constitution? Oh, that's, that would mean, that's pretty good.
plus 4. So yeah, you add. So you get 6 added on to the
11, so that's 13, that's 17 HP. Not bad. I get that.
I'm gonna go sharpen this real quick. Is it okay?
I've got another pencil here.
I've got another
Oh,
one.
you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, this one
Can
the
I
lead.
have a
Yeah, this one looks better.
The lead snapped out.
Seven?
Me and Tom back to max.
Let's see here.
You go back to
7 at
max with that?
the whole time?
Me and Taèlios.
17.
No, you
plus
drank a potion.
Yeah, a long time ago. That was like a month ago.
That was like an hour ago. In the end. How many points did you get back?
17.
You got 17 back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
You
that's
rolled an
So
11,
you're at 24.
and
Yeah.
your con mod is 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plus her 2,
Yeah.
so yeah, 17 points on one
Just
roll.
do that, I guess.
Got 10.
I'm back to full.
I'm back to not full.
How much do you have?
I think I'm at 16 out of 19.
I'm
pretty good.
24.
Oh, is it 13?
Yeah, you haven't taken 1 damage.
Okay, so everybody got it done? Everybody who needed to heal?
Yep.
Okay, so an hour goes by, and you just sit and recoup and gain back those hit points. You don't hear anything other than maybe the dull sound of the fireball still going up and down that hallway.
The color ball.
Yeah. So at the end of your hour, what would you like to do?
All right, I think we're
would
good to
like
go.
head back in to examine the coffin.
Okay.
Skipping.
Let's go ahead and put that out.
You want this rolled back up?
No, just set it back there. Don't set it on the red though. Set it over there because it's just one more thing to be kind of glaring. I had them there first and didn't like it.
Let's see if we can get a-
I'll back
Okay, yeah.
We need to get a better camera at some point here.
The sacred text.
I realized that's basically a Y-wing.
Yeah, it is. Looks like a Star Trek ship.
Gold.
Yeah.
The gold.
It does kind of.
Mm,
Yeah.
too.
But notice I went straight to Star Wars and not
Yeah,
Star Trek.
that's the way to do it.
Where's our pillars?
And then we go to dwarf. It's right there.
Question is, where is? Yeah, there we go.
Is this something you painted or did you buy this?
That is that thing I was making up on the table
Yeah.
for a long time.
I
That's
remember that.
that's
Really? That's what
Ordered
you
it from the
made?
Amish.
He
yeah.
painted it black after.
It's styrofoam with Elmer's glue, many layers of Elmer's glue while it worked into the styrofoam, and then finally once it had soaked it all in, and I could have an outer coat of it and still retain the texture a little bit, then I painted it black and varnished it. That is a pretty close representation of what the walls look like in this place. That's what I was going for. I was going for something to make it look similar to what the dungeon looks like.
No, the walls are like all like liney and striped.
Yeah, it sounds like a zebra wall.
Did you have fun drawing that?
Yes. Fun, in air quotes, yeah. Suffice to say, there are people who show their maps online, and they have this cross hatching, and it looks like it's like Gimli up on top of it. They make it look so easy, and this looks okay, but it took forever, and there's almost no skill involved in it. So I'm just not an artist, bottom line.
All right.
But I can make a mean styrofoam coffin.
Well, that's all that really matters in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, so refresher.
But we're gonna get taken out.
How much HP do you all have?
Remember that wall, that border there is a 3-foot high wall. So if you're on it, you're on it. You're either inside, outside, or standing on top of this thing. So,
I want to be on the wall.
huh?
The walls fell down.
No, the walls didn't fall down. The arcane barrier around that came down. It got
Right.
dispelled or whatever. As soon as you played the tune and the pillars lit up, boom, that arcane barrier disappeared. Remember, you couldn't pass through it, and anything you tossed through came back out. That went away.
It's like that crown in the Dragonlance books. One guy has. It's got like a rainbow barrier around him or something like that.
I don't remember that.
You
Alright.
said this lid had cracked, so there's like a line around it that we can see.
The lid didn't crack, but what happened was it separated. Before, what it looked like was you could tell it was in the shape of a coffin, but there was no discernible lid. It looked like one huge solid piece. But as soon as the last skeleton fell, then you heard a noise over there. You heard a series of noises, 4 loud clicks. And then you looked, and then all of a sudden a lid separated just a bit from the base. It's still on. It's not like up and sitting cockeyed, but it's just all of a sudden now you can see a lid where before you couldn't.
I'm gonna use my crowbar to.
I think we should check for traps first.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna get out my bow and hold an arrow for an action.
I'll check for traps.
Okay,
Get a
It's
roll.
a perception check,
it is perception.
which is a 20.
Critical perception. Here we go.
10 plus
6. Right? 6. Give 6 for perception.
yes, so 16.
16. Okay, you look it over very carefully, and as far as you can tell, it is not trapped.
I think we
I
should.
will open
I think we should try to see. Is it? It's just like a big lid that would like lift off and like we had to like slide it to a side to get it off.
You don't see any hinges.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So I can
Box
just get
without
my pry bar
hinges.
in there a little bit.
Your
and
pry bar?
Yeah. Pry bar.
You
And pry it.
can start crying. It falls off.
a
Okay,
little
so
bit.
I think we should try to take it off then. Maybe we try to take it off and like knock it this way.
Knock it away from me. Since
I'll go to the back.
Pulling action.
We just all get on this side of it
Okay.
and try to lift it up and shove the lid that way.
Okay.
I was like over here and you guys drop it on my foot.
Okay. So you're trying to just lift up and slide is what you're doing. Okay. Give me a party-wide strength check.
I think we all know we should do that.
No, I think we know.
Everybody
everyone.
who's helping, roll.
Am I actually helping you guys?
That's 20. You roll
Yeah.
20 sided for that, right?
This is taller than you are.
We rolled 20 sided.
So probably
probably
not
not
helping you
helping.
20
guys.
sided.
Yeah.
He's
Just,
just-
so it's
he lifts you up on our
it's
shoulders.
just
19.
roll a d20 and add your strength modifier.
Well, the lid's not coming off.
I got it. Don't worry, guys.
Well, we have to add it all together.
Okay, so you have your note. So you didn't even roll, right, Nix? Okay, yeah. Nix is shorter than the whole thing. She wouldn't
Here's
have
what
been
we do.
much
We
help.
just lift.
6.
23.
I'm holding an action, remember?
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
10.
6.
My goodness, I'm the only one doing anything.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got a 4 and...
So-
wait.
That's fine. It works. Remember, we're talking about lifting a lid here. But what you do, and men should always lift the lid. What you are doing is a simple task, but I wanted to see how it went for you at first, because this thing is heavy with a capital E, and
Wait a second.
so. So yes, you get it lifted up and slid just a bit, but you can tell this thing. You're gonna have to be cautious because unless you just want to slide it and let it drop, which you can do, but it's heavy. It's really heavy, heavier than you thought it would be.
See, here's
So
the
I
thing.
think we just push it in the
Well,
drop. I don't think
Here's the
there's.
thing.
yeah.
If there's something in there, it will
It's
hear
not
us.
on. Larry, we
But
don't have
if
to
we
worry about
don't,
getting it back on.
if we
Nix is gonna go to the other side and just.
you catch it. Okay. You continue. You're gonna. Okay. So don't need to roll. You're gonna be able to do this. Even if I made you roll, you could just keep rolling until you got it. As soon as you start to open a gap on the side that you're pushing from, you can start to see a faint gold glow coming from
Gold armor.
outside.
It's fine.
I have a question. Are the pillars still glowing?
I
or
shoot
is-
Tom in the back.
They are still lit.
They are still. So we can. We still have light in the room. We can.
Yes,
See.
yes. So and
Because that's what I was gonna ask about. Like, if there wasn't like enough light, I would have cast my things like above the coffin just so we have some light.
right. No, the pillars are still lit. You lit torches in the hallway, going back toward the entrance chamber. You also lit torches in the entrance chamber before. In the last episode, you lit a few of them, or maybe all of them. I can't remember. But this room is well lit because of the pillars that are still glowing in those 4 colors. So,
This question: how does the hooligans get in here?
Hooligans.
Or whatever? Yeah, you
Kobold?
said that. I'm in the wrong session.
Kelvin?
yeah, you're still back in 1E.
Yeah.
You're still back at Saltmarsh. Okay. You keep pushing. You see the gold glow. You keep pushing. As you push further, you get to the point where its own weight carries it over the edge now, and it just clangs down on the floor, which again sounds weird to say because it seems like it's cement, but it clangs
But it
like
sounds
metal.
like metal.
Yes. Yes.
Dark steel.
Tang, 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 and comes to rest.
Wait, can you go through that one more time?
Tang, tang, tang,
I'm
tang, tang,
picturing the sound like the blade traps of the shing.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe not quite that metallic, but metallic nonetheless. At least in
But not
part.
Metallica.
Not Metallica, but metallic.
Or shoot an arrow at the gold.
Okay. Well, what you see in the coffin is, by all appearances, an elven ghost. Glowing gold. Arms crossed, eyes closed. I don't know that any of you have seen specters or anything like that before, but this is the kind of the idea of it. It's picture Obi-Wan Kenobi's apparition, except that instead of the blue outline, it's gold, and the whole thing glows with a gold a little bit too.
It's Taèlios' dad.
Lying there. D&D world solved.
Well, I don't understand then why wouldn't the undead thing pick up on that?
Must not be undead then.
Who did that?
Let me look at this. I'm looking at my divine sense.
Okay, that's fine. We can talk about that.
My guy just runs in there.
Can't even go straight through it.
We don't know it's bad necessarily.
It's your dad.
It's
your
only
dad
it's
bad.
only celestial, fiend,
Is
and
it-
undead. So when Spectre's not in there.
No. Spectre is just my word for description. A spectre, the creature spectre, is an undead.
So now we're sensed it then.
So, well,
If
not,
it was
not
spectre.
unless the material is
Okay.
one
Might
that
be
you
far
can't.
enough
So,
to me. So.
but your range reached. Well, your range.
I said I remember saying that I wanted to be within 60 feet of the. I think
Yes.
60 feet. Yeah. I
All right,
said,
let's just ask the undead expert since that's who I am. Can I roll? Because undead is my favorite enemy.
Sure. Make so you're drawing. You're making a deduction right now. So you can do either.
Insight.
No. I want you to do an investigation check because you're deducing right now. You've got information and now you're deducing, and because they are your favored enemy, you can do this with advantage.
Terry.
You're gonna get that
I rolled
advantage.
a 2.
I thought it was a 1%.
This is an intelligence check too, which I have 0 bonuses in. So I got a 7.
Oh my gosh.
With advantage, that's.
Okay. Well, I'll take into consideration the fact that they're your favorite enemy. You know that if he was in range, then the skeletons should have registered. And this isn't like anything any of you have ever seen. But you're left to conclude that maybe that barrier prevented it.
The barrier, as in the coffin.
The magical
There was a
barrier.
magical field
Around
around.
the skeletons inside of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, I have the perfect plan. I'm gonna run down there, poke him, run back up.
Now, as you're wondering about this, the eyes open on this creature,
I think we back away.
and
Can we try to communicate with it?
it sits up, and its arms come down, and it looks around at you, and it gets up, and it looks like it's getting up, like it puts its hands on the side of the thing, and it gets up and steps up and kind of puts its hands down, braces itself, and jumps out. And it looks around at you once more, and it puts a right hand on its heart and its left hand out in an open gesture, and it bows to you. And then it takes off down the hallway.
We run after it?
We're running after that.
I say we run after it.
And it's going fast.
Not fast
Takes
enough.
off down the hallways and like down that hallway is in
Yep.
towards the outside.
It moves through the open doorway there. It moves through the open doorway and through the doorway that had been barricaded. And are you following?
I say
Yeah, we follow.
Wait,
Go.
before, is there anything
Tom,
in
go.
Coffin that
Do
we
the
can
fast
see?
on that.
I'm
Is
really
it
fast.
just,
Are you going to look or are you going to follow?
No, follow.
I'm gonna follow.
I'm gonna say because there's
I'm
no
fast.
point.
I'll take a quick look at it because since I'm back here.
Okay,
with my
so
bow.
it's fine. Anybody who looks there's no way you're going to be able to keep up if you're looking.
I'm following.
I'll
I'm
follow.
following.
I'll
I
follow
can't
you.
even keep up anyways.
Okay, well then I need to follow since I'm the ranger.
You're gonna try to track it.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
dark vision.
so you go as quickly as you can. In game mechanics, you're using your movement and your action to dash,
This guy's got triple actions because he could use his key points to run.
and you're not keeping up.
Even with my speed,
Even with your speed, you're not keeping
well,
up.
we're not gonna catch him then.
However, you get to the end of the hallway and get to what would have been the south end of that large entrance chamber, and it's standing still at the door, which is closed. The kobolds had closed all the doors, remember. So that door into the big hallway, the big entrance hall, the one you first came into from kind of the natural chamber, where some of you fell into the pit trap, that door is closed and is still closed, and it's standing there at the door.
I looked in the coffin because I couldn't keep up with them, so is there anything in there?
Okay, you climbed up and make a perception check.
Watch if there's another ghost in there.
That is a high perception.
8.
You don't see anything in the coffin. It is empty. Visually, it is just empty. It's an empty coffin.
Secrets.
Can we try to talk to this?
Well, what I mean by that is you can
What
see.
about spiritually?
You can see inside the coffin. There's no part of inside of it,
I can
as
imagine.
you're looking in, that you can't see. You can see every little corner of it, and you don't see anything.
We should talk to the ghost.
Back to the rest of you. It's standing at the door. You do catch up now because it's just standing there.
We should try to talk to it.
Who can speak Elvish? I can't.
I can.
I can.
There we go.
Talk to your dad.
I speak halfling.
For what it's worth, you do not recognize this elf.
Imagine if I was.
Although, perception check.
I knew it was your dad.
You look different than I
Yeah, that's a
remember.
good one. It's me 20.
Yep, 20.
20, yeah. I could have had a different roll too, but that works. You can tell it's a high elf, not a wood elf.
Am I the
That
only
is
one
a
that
high
speaks
elf?
Elvish?
What?
I speak Elvish.
What should we say
I
to this
speak
thing?
Elvish also.
I don't speak Elvish.
I just want to speak
Excuse me,
Greek.
stewardess, I speak jive.
Well, I'm just curious how his dad is a high elf and not a wood elf.
Family history, man. I guess I just want to speak Greek into it and see if it responds in any way. Hi.
Okay.
An Elvish hi.
I said melon.
Fred. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot I was going to switch to this music. You get the sense that it understands, but it does not. I keep saying it. He does not respond.
Your dad's a guy?
Do I assume, or like what I'm kind of getting is like maybe the walls are like something you can't get through, like it's sealed in here kind
Because
of.
the door's made of the same material, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you must not be able to contact or like touch that without
That's what I'm thinking.
getting
Maybe.
hurt or something.
Do we want to open the doors?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he showed respect towards us and wants out, so I think we should let him out.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Open the doors.
I don't
Sure.
think it's an
Can't
evil
do
thing.
much else.
Okay.
Well, we
So-
can fight it. But...
We're gonna open the
Yeah,
doors.
let's do that.
Okay. So you open the door at the south end of that entrance chamber.
Tom's ready to sprint.
Is our mules still?
It opens up. He gives you a quick glance again. Kindness in his expression, and he zips through that hallway, heads across, floats right across the pit trap. Doesn't phase him a bit. Right there in the middle of the room.
He floats. He doesn't jump.
Just he doesn't need to. He doesn't jump. He just right across it, and he goes up through. Remember, there's stairs in this natural part there, and he goes up, and it looks like he didn't use the stairs. He just shot up through the ground.
I think we follow outside.
Yeah, I think we should see where he goes outside.
Yeah,
And I'm
keep
following.
down.
You're following.
It's not like it's gonna matter. It's not like it's gonna matter. There's no way you're catching up.
Okay.
We can at least see which direction he goes or something, you know.
Or he
Okay.
could be waiting outside or something. So yeah.
Okay. So up the stairs, across the room and up the stairs. I need each of you. Let's do it this way. Anybody who is proficient in perception, make a perception check.
Heck yeah.
Perception.
Oh yeah.
You're proficient. Why are
Oh,
you?
that's
Oh, I'm
the
proficient.
thing is filled in.
Proficient.
If you're proficient.
Yeah.
So just we're all proficient in perception.
You all have it filled in?
Yeah.
That's
Perception's
fine.
a good skill to have.
Anybody who has it filled in.
That's okay. That's decent.
I think we got enough good
I
rolls
rolled
there.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, were you?
If you roll again, I'll have you roll with disadvantage.
Can she even roll it? Because she's like
Yeah.
20 feet.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
she's like 20 feet behind us every single time we move. So she's-
well, it didn't take her long to look into the thing, and then you stood there for a minute and tried to. You tried to communicate with him. She caught up.
I'm trying to
Somehow.
leave Nyx behind.
But
You got unfortunate. It was our plan.
it doesn't matter, obviously, by her roll. So, I don't even need to ask what yours was. It was bad enough that.
I get a 7.
Okay.
18.
20.
22.
22.
16. He skipped me.
22.
22. Okay. The three of you that got 20 or above catch just a glimpse of light in the air as you look to the southwest. And you can see it is flying, essentially. It's in the air. It's not on the ground. It went up through the ground and now it's in the air headed southwest.
Not the same pace it's been.
No, much faster.
Now it's outside. It's been.
The distance that it has made it in the time it took you to get up to the surface is much faster than you saw it moving through the hallway.
I got my horse. I can ride that. Can two people fit in that? Or is it just like am I too big?
They have to stay warm, baby.
On it. On it.
So you're gonna pull a tauntaun.
Yeah.
Like, is that big enough for two, or would I have to have one? It could just
They're
fit
not
me.
going to keep up with it anyways, even on the horse.
I can go 60.
Its pace is way beyond that.
And
As
it
far
doesn't have to
as,
go
as
like a
far as it
path,
away,
like-
you just see this glow of light because it's bright. But even in the outside, you can still see it. And you just caught a glimmer of it as it disappeared from sight.
Imagine if we just ignored it and we're like, now what do we do?
Well, obviously, we're going to have to go back to town anyways. But
Well, we could just know where it came from and just continue.
And it was headed
Come back and
south
go that way.
west. Which is that direction that we came from, or is that a different direction? Like,
Let's
when
get
we-
out the map.
So like
Where's
as
map,
we,
man?
As we came up, we
Bam.
followed the road.
Get us that map.
So southwest would be
Where are we at?
kind of towards the castle
I
area.
don't know.
Or in that
Generally, you came
we
east-ish
kind of came east and we went
along the
west,
road,
north.
and then you left
we
the
went down
road to the
here.
north and west.
Yes.
Yes.
We went this way, right?
I think so, yeah.
We left to the
So-
right.
So it's heading south
West.
It's towards
West,
Alestria,
Which
right?
is back towards Alestria.
in general. Yeah, not like necessarily because it's travel for several miles.
Make a ranger. Make a survival check.
Survival.
Oh man, I'm proficient in that. I think I should get
Nice.
it. I'm proficient in survival.
14.
Are you?
Yeah.
You can make one too if you're proficient in it.
14. Well, he's.
It's proficient.
Colored in.
Well, if you're proficient
Actually-
in perception, everyone's proficient in it because they're proficient in perception, which is the same type of check.
Survival.
No, survival.
I'm
No,
not
no,
survival.
it's more of an outdoor. Survival is more of an outdoor.
I'm saying it's a wisdom check.
I've been
regardless.
living in
So
the
anyone-
wild.
But
I've
just
been
because
living in the wild.
you're
I've been living
proficient
in
in
the wild.
one skill, even if it's based on the same ability, it doesn't mean you're proficient in it. It's a different skill set.
The black dot is how you know if you're
Plus,
proficient.
Gabe, I've been living in the wild for years.
Okay, well, I got 14.
Actually,
I got
I'm
14.
going to limit this just to the ranger because the ranger is a tracker, and the ranger is, as part of a ranger's skill set, is to know directions and to know, aside from knowing which kind of creature left these tracks or where they went following them, it's also an awareness of north, south, east, and west. And we all know in real life, not everyone has that skill set. Rangers do, though. And as far as you can tell, it is headed in the direction of Alestria.
Okay.
It's going to kill people. What did we just do?
It was like the long lost.
This was like the scene right out of The Hobbit where they let Smaug out onto the village. We come up to the top and we're like, what have we done?
It was like the long lost king of the village or place or whatever.
I bet we're gonna find out.
Do we want to go back down and do like a quick look in the coffin then?
Yeah, I'll ask
Yeah.
Nix, what did you find?
Nothing.
All right, we're going back.
Going back to the coffin.
Yeah, we don't trust next.
Probably like hogging it for herself, we say.
Take a quick
What time
look.
of day is it right now?
I wish I didn't use both my
No,
spell
I
slots so I
have
could
different
cast
languages
the
that
tracking
you guys
spell
have.
on this guy.
It is late afternoon now. You could tell that from being outside and you know just the light and position of the sun. You can also tell by your rumbling bellies that you went in the mid to late morning, and several hours have passed in the time you've been in here. So I imagine you would have had a bite to eat on your short rest as well.
Do you want to go back in and check the coffin?
Yeah.
You said
I think
Yeah, I
we go
think
back.
we
We
should.
go back in and look
We're
at.
going to go investigate the coffin,
Okay.
like checking for secrets and whatnot.
I got a bit of one
Excuse me.
investigation.
Because we still have a key that we didn't use.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do. Well, we were assuming that it goes to the door. Or no, we had two keys.
No.
Right?
We never
we
used
never
it.
found out where the
No,
key
we
went to.
didn't.
Wait,
I
did we?
bet it's in there. I bet it's in the coffin.
Did I mark this down?
It's somewhere, obviously. Maybe. I would
Two
assume.
keys. One opens chest.
The other one we thought opened the door, but we found a black key in the back of the statue.
Yeah, okay, that's one.
Yeah. We're going back in.
Okay.
We're gonna go back to the room with the coffin.
Okay.
I want to inspect the coffin.
Look inside it, especially specifically for keyholes involved with the key that we have not used yet.
Okay. One of you with advantage, or two of you individually. Go ahead and roll perception.
You can go with advantage, Tom. You've got a high perception.
There you go.
That's gotta
That's
be in there.
22.
22? Okay. You scour this coffin inside and out and find nothing at all.
Let's check the lid.
Check the lid.
The lid.
Let's check it. We didn't check the lid, right? We're checking the coffin.
I'll include the lid in that roll.
Okay,
Same thing.
Let's shove the coffin aside. Look underneath it.
It's heavy. I don't know
If
we
we all get on it, we might be able to do it.
By the way, guys, also when we found this trail, there was also two trails. There could be another one that could have the key in it. Because there was one trail going to this way and the other way.
Do you guys want to push
Can we
the
try to
coffin?
push the coffin?
Yeah, you don't need to roll for it. It's like that platform out there where Nick stood and played that tune. It's built into the floor. It's not budging.
And we check around the room.
Can we investigate around this?
The back wall. We
And
never did
like,
anything
did we
on
ever do the
back wall.
pillars? I mean, we went up them to look at the
I
the
probably would've-
notes, but
I
did you ever
probably
check
would have been
on
able
them?
to see them though, because I
we
was
inspected
looking.
the pillars.
We'll go from just the back there.
Or
and
traps and
see if there's
stuff. We
anything.
would have seen.
See if there's anything on the back wall.
Okay, roll for it. I assume someone's helping.
That's 13 for me.
I'll help.
Good help.
It was on a 16 and I rolled back.
I don't think he will help.
Yeah, that's going to be an 8.
Jeez.
You do not find anything.
Did we search this circle? I don't think we did. Let's look around this thing.
Go for it.
Just keep getting worse.
I got a 6.
I got a 7.
We remember when we first came in that thing that had a number on it.
Yeah, it was 2.
That was the doorway that you let him out,
That was this.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Dragonborn for 2, right?
Correct. Draconic.
Yeah.
Dragonborn Draconic.
Or
basically
two.
something.
Two what?
Yeah, did we ever
Too
figure that out?
fast and too furious.
We did not figure out anything for it.
Maybe the guy's name is 2.
That's why you're the barbarian. Excuse me.
I do have 9 intelligence.
Yeah. Showing.
We warned the barbarian his intelligence is showing.
We-
Like, thank you, Zeldreth. Thank you.
You're welcome for my insight.
Well, it's an idea. It's an idea.
Watch as it is.
Definitely
And
not
I'll
better
be
than
telling
nothing,
you.
but
So what was in this room that's got like stuff?
We looked
We
around.
pushed
that.
the throne and
I punched it.
no, no, we pushed it.
It was a,
So it was
there,
a throne.
There was
It
a
was
yes.
wood.
There was essentially a throne. Well, throne. It was a thrown together. No pun intended. It was a ramshackle throne built out of pieces of like wagons and stuff like that.
So it was like the kobold.
It was a roughly constructed wooden throne. There was that. There was a treasure chest, and then there was a pile of those dwarven made bricks.
2.
Did you ever search the statues?
I feel like we're missing
Yeah.
a secret
Yeah,
door
we-
somewhere.
Yeah.
Or something.
I feel like the main room would be the best. We haven't searched that at all.
yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Well,
we went
not
through
really.
it.
No, saying like at the very
Did we ever
side.
search the altar at all?
I think
Yeah,
we did.
We did.
Closely?
Mm-hmm.
I think we checked like all the statues.
That's how we found the
Key.
key.
He was
Well, it
behind
wasn't
the
on
altar.
the- it
He
was
was
on
on
the-
the statue behind the altar.
I know, but we searched them all, and that's how we found
I
it.
also climbed up the person.
But we haven't searched the ceiling.
I'll
Get
throw.
the-
I'll throw Nyx up there.
That'll work.
Nobody throws a gnome. I guess that wouldn't be your voice. You should have said that. Nobody throws a gnome. Tosses, not throws. Tosses.
Just go through, start checking all the statues.
One thing we can do is like check for secrets.
Check everything again.
Maybe in the pitfall. There's a keyhole in the pitfall that we can open.
I want to check the whole dungeon.
Roll for it.
After 3 days,
Every single wall. I say we go back to the main part of the main room because I don't know where else we would go with this key. Unless it's like a magical key that like unlocks anything.
except for all the doors we tried to unlock, or the door we tried to unlock in the chest.
We didn't put it in though. We didn't put it in.
But it
though.
wasn't gonna work. It was.
It could have worked. You never know.
I could memorize the tech magic and we could find out.
And it's a key made from the same material as the walls of the coffin.
I mean, we haven't checked when we were going down the stairs.
We checked this thing, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah, it's like a plinth.
yeah.
It's something to play music on.
Maybe behind the in the dragon's mouth. There's a keyhole that shoots
We
fireball.
checked the dragon's graveyard.
You shall have your chance.
We should go
Yeah,
check
that's a
the
good
fire pit
idea.
thingy.
You check it and then a fireball just comes out. That's a good idea.
I mean, I think we just check the statues or something again at this point. I don't know what else.
I think we also check in the mouth.
Unless we
gotta
just
be
missed
careful.
a secret room, which is definitely
We should
possible.
try
But
checking the fire pit.
I feel like we checked all the walls that we could.
We checked that wall. We never checked in between here, but I don't know if there's anything there.
We were checking for traps the whole time. You think we would see?
I mean, that's different. You're not looking for the secret room if you're looking for traps.
Maybe we should go to the fire pit.
Yeah.
We did go through the fire
No, we
pit.
didn't go to the bottom though, did we?
We
At the
found,
very
we found
bottom?
paper in it.
Well, I mean, do we have to specify like what part
I
of
mean,
the fire pit?
Oh, we did find paper. What did the paper say?
It was that we
There was stuff
confirming.
about like a future raid, like on a given
That's
date
if
and
you
time.
were,
Yeah.
it's
On the other
useful
road.
if you were going to try to mix certain liquids or chemicals together or something like that to
That sounds good.
create some sort of a.
I feel like we're missing lots of good things.
Where did those?
By the way,
where
when
at?
we
I don't
checked the that little pit of like fire and stuff, did we check the bottom of it? Like under it.
I don't remember specifically, but I do remember that you checked it. I mean, I know you rolled for it on
Yeah, we did.
the items that were in that room, the statues, the altar, the fire pit. I know you rolled to check all of those things. That's why you found those pieces of paper that had the writing on them. Partially burned pieces of paper.
Maybe they're on the pillars in the big room on one of the pillars.
I think we just need to check the statues, maybe pillars.
Well, we already checked them all.
I think the only thing we can do at this point is check the key for magic. If there's no magic on the key, then we're most likely
That would
missing
take
something.
a while for me to memorize it, though.
But I'm saying if there's no magic on the key, then it definitely belongs to this place, but we don't know what it does.
How long is it? You have to have a long rest, right, to memorize the spell?
To change your spell list, yeah. To sub in a spell for another
Oh,
one.
yours
It's
is
on a long
yours is
rest.
memorizing them.
I think that's what.
No. It's basically it's almost the case that it's for everyone to get your spell slot. When you do a long rest,
I thought he was like similar to like a cleric where they gets it from like whatever the god he.
they do, but he can't change what spells he has ready for today, prepared, until a long rest. That's when you can change what spells you have prepared.
You still have
for
to
the
have
day.
him prepared. He doesn't get to just choose what he casts.
No.
Oh.
No. He has.
So I'm like basically one of the only exceptions.
Well, isn't it the case that you have the spells that you know right now, and those are the only spells you can cast unless you have other ones prepared? I think for a sorcerer you have to prepare spells too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to memorize them, but you have to prepare them.
What do you mean?
Preparing for a sorcerer is not quite the same as it is for a wizard, but you do. So you have your spell list, right? And you have your spells there.
Look up what the spell
Those are
key
the
does.
spells right now in terms of the slots you have that you
have
have
a section on keys.
prepared. But you can, the number of spells you can have ready and prepared is, you can swap in spells for those, but you have to give one up.
Oh yeah, you mean like you can only have a certain number of each of the level of spell memorized?
I'm not talking, yes.
Yeah, because I can cast. It's different for me, or like how it was before, where it's like I can choose. Okay, today I
No, I
want
wonder
this
if
one,
this
this
right
one.
here.
Whereas with this one, with the
But this
sorcerer,
is,
it's just
like,
these are all the
corresponds
spells.
to, like,
You have a bunch of
hideouts.
spells, and you can just
So
choose.
this is
to
like
cast from
number 2. Like, so there's other ones.
Where do we see that?
I
It's above the
think
doorway.
it
That
is
would make
still the
sense,
case
because
that
there's
it
two
basically
places,
works
there's two
that way.
places
It's just that you
that we
don't
saw
have to
trailers
memorize
going
them
this
from
way
a
and
book.
other
You don't
way.
have to use wizard
That would make
mechanics
sense. That would
as a
make sense.
sorcerer. But you
the
have,
other way.
so I have,
No,
I can know this
well,
many first level spells.
I think
And
we
that's
might-
how many I
We
know
might
right
want to
now.
go back to
Okay,
the
well,
pig
let's
cell
say
and get
tomorrow
some stuff.
you
Like,
want
we don't-
you want
like,
to
if we
keep
get
this
another
first
tornado-
level spell, but you want this one instead of this one. On a long rest, you can sub that
I don't
out.
think so. Can I see the book?
No, I think you can, but I could be wrong.
So I don't know if you guys heard, but my working theory is that this number corresponds to like a hideout number. So I think there might be another one. Like they might have number 1, number 2.
And there were 2 trails that we saw. One this way and the one the other way.
Although trail was heading this direction based on, but it was raining, so it would be kind of difficult to tell. But that's the best idea that we have, or at least that I have right now. And maybe the key could go to something at the other place, possibly. But I don't know.
It could open it.
But that'd be kind of because this is, they didn't make this. They probably just took it over, which means unless those 2 places are connected, it doesn't necessarily connect to them.
They've been stealing brick though.
You don't know that they didn't make it.
They've been stealing brick. They probably did make it.
I'm saying we don't know about it. I mean,
I bet they did. Plus, they haven't been seen for thousands
I think
of
we
years.
give the
or
last
whatever.
look at the statues. Probably you're gonna have to rest the night anyway, and then we can get the use our detect magic spell. We can use that the next day, and if we don't find anything, then we can take off. At least that's all I got.
I'm on board.
yeah. I don't really care what we do. I don't care.
Everything's meaningless.
I just want to find out. I just want to find out what this key is for. You like checked everything.
That could work. We could take a long rest during the night, which we would do, and then you could
And we can
do
find
it.
out at this magical sphere of weirdness.
You know what? I forgot to mention to you something about. I should have mentioned to you before. No, seriously, the mechanics in 5th edition essentially have the way that you, one of the ways that you can glean information about an item that is magical is by some items have to be attuned to, and that often takes a long rest, sometimes a short rest. And what that means is basically it's spending time using the item in kind of as it's intended to be used. So if it were a magical bow, let's say, you didn't find a bow, let's say it is, you would have to spend some time working with it as a bow, as a functional bow. But as you do that, you would attune to it, and you can only ever be attuned to 3 different items. Lots of items do not need attunement. But similar to that, you can also discern properties of a magical item by spending some time working with it over a short rest. And I forgot to tell you that before you guys took a short rest. So if you did want to take a look at some of these things, also in 5e, properties of potions can be discerned by taking a small sip of them. If you want to take
I'll take a small sip.
if you want to take a small sip,
I already have.
if you want to take if you want to take the risk of taking a small sip and not knowing what it is, you can discern properties of it, but you run the risk of having negative effects if it's a problematic potion. Now this one you didn't hear. This potion was not red like healing potions that you all know. It was clear, but in the middle of it was like a little red bead floating in the middle of it that would expand and then fill the whole flask or vial, and so the whole thing looked red like it was filled with that bead, and then it would contract again to that bead, and then it would expand.
I don't know what anything to do with that.
Maybe it's a heart.
I'll take a sip of it.
I will take a sip of it. My
Alright,
thing
we're all
pushes you out.
splitting the potion.
Plus, I have the most health. If it's like poison or something, which it probably wouldn't be, but if it's something like that, I have the most health.
But the only way to have the effects of the potion is to drink the whole thing. Then after that, you can't, like, a potion is a single dose. And
Yeah,
anything less than that, minus the sip.
The
if
sip
you
is
want to-
just a tiny taste.
Yep.
Well, I will do that.
You want to do that?
Well, okay, let's get through what we're doing and then get to the rest.
Well, this is retconning a little bit because he would have done this on the short rest probably.
Probably not, because we didn't know what was coming ahead.
Okay, well it's up
I
to.
would have done that.
I would have slept with the key.
Let's
I would have stuck with the mystical ball.
Okay.
I would have done that.
You take a sip of this potion.
Is this a roll thing? Like, does he need a specific attribute check on this? Like, so I since we don't know about this, does it depend on abilities, or is it just any character can do this?
Any character can do this. You take a sip of the potion, and at first you don't notice anything, but then you start to sense that it feels like your body is wanting to expand.
I don't want anything to do with that potion.
It feels like you're up and out, like you're.
It's gonna increase his size.
This
or
is the
Yeah.
end potion, right?
You feel like you almost feel like you're going through a sudden growth spurt, and then it's gone, and you feel like yourself again.
Ah, I know I should
But
have
having done that, you discern,
Potion of growth.
Potion of growth.
and what it does is on the back of the card.
Can you read it out loud?
No. Okay. Here you go.
Yeah, okay. When you drink this potion, you gain the enlarge effect of the enlarge/reduce spell for 1d4 of hours. No concentration required. The red in the potion's liquid continuously expands from a tiny bead to color the clear liquid around it and then contracts, shaking the bottle. Fails to interrupt this process.
Yep.
So basically, you just gain the effects of that spell.
Guys, I should have drinking that and caught the ghost.
For 1 to 4 hours,
Yeah.
based on a roll, which whoever drinks it would roll the d4, and that's how many hours it'll be in
The
effect.
potion is obviously in my pack since I'm the potion man.
No.
Sounds pretty well suited to a
Well, what if I
barbarian.
didn't tell you what it did?
Yeah.
You never know. I might not.
I
fool
have
you.
the alchemist supplies.
No.
Yeah. So so basically it's just there's a list here of like how many of each spell you can know at each level, and it's these are all that you just automatically know. So then if you want to sub one out, then you'd have to like spend time to like switch one in. But it says here in the back. Members of a few classes,
Yeah,
including
ask
bards
them.
and sorcerers, have a limited
I
list of
speak with
spells
half
that they
of
know
Just
that
tell
are always
everyone.
fixed in mind.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is like the list of like first level
You guys
spells
speak
of these
halfling?
spells that I could just always be able to cast.
No, I speak
I can always know
I bet you
2
can.
and then 3 and 3. or
Halfling?
whatever. I think is that
You
what it
can?
is?
I would need to look. 'Cause I don't know
Common,
that
Elvish,
means
Gnomish.
you know every spell of that level on the sorcerer
No,
spell
no.
list.
Which does that mean that
No,
you
no,
have
that's
to
not what it
translate
is. It's so
what she
spells known
said?
as 2,
You're
so
like,
like right here,
"Jeez, I speak
level
common."
1 you know 2 first level spells.
Mhm.
And then at level 2 you learn 3. So
Right.
there's like you choose which spells you want to like always
Right.
know. So, but you just have those to cast whenever. It's if you want to like switch one out that then it's like what you're talking about.
At a
Pretty
long
cool
rest.
to learn
Yeah,
like a
at a
dragon
long
or
rest.
That's
something.
what I mean. If
Okay,
you want
well,
to
I
switch
sounded
them
like
out,
you were saying like you
Size
had to
of the
do work
dragon.
to like
Drop
know
a
the
bigger
spells.
sword.
I was
No,
like, no, I know.
no.
I
you
just
just
have
need a
these
long
Wizard
rest to be able to
weapons get
switch
big,
which
too.
ones you have prepared.
Or you're like a giant. With like
But
full
prepared
two-step.
doesn't mean memorized the way that a wizard does. That's
You have like disadvantage.
okay. So, are you taking a night's rest then? Is that what I heard?
I think what we wanted to do was maybe, well, I guess if we've already investigated, then we probably wouldn't go back and do that. I don't know what else we can do with the key at this point. If anyone has any ideas,
I have no idea.
go for it. Otherwise, we're probably only checking the key for magic. Otherwise, we don't know what to do with it right now.
Okay. Let me. So you're gonna are you? What I thought I heard was that you're going to camp here for the night.
Yeah, try to stay here overnight so that we can get this detect magic spell before we leave. See if there's any magic on the key, at least, and then
Okay.
head out from there.
Are you outside or inside? What's your plan on where you're?
Inside.
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 We don't have any tents.
Wait, maybe they have a tent in the thing. We could check that. Do they have a tent in the supply things?
You have not come across a tent.
Bunch of crap.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's interesting. Roll a perception check with advantage.
For what?
To see if there's like a tent hidden like that they've taken off of people.
It was almost 20.
With advantage.
With advantage,
Wait, what was it? With
perception.
Perception? You have 15.
15. You
Yeah.
find a tent.
Okay, well, I think I get one of those things that you get for.
We're sleeping outside, boys.
Can I look for a tent too?
There you go. You can add 3 to a roll.
You get a gold one for that?
Smart. You big brain, even though I have 9 intelligence.
It's big.
That's definitely something a smart person would say.
So,
Yep, you find a tent and it's in pretty good shape. And it sleeps 2 people comfortably, 3 could squeeze in.
Can
It's a
3 be
small
like
one.
a small Nyx person?
Maybe 1, 2, 3 tight, and then
Could we find any more? Is that it?
Which works perfectly too because we always have
that's
to.
one. You found one.
We
It's
always
fine. I'm
have
a
to.
ranger. I can sleep out anywhere.
We have to have someone on watch anyway, so we're not gonna be in the tent.
Well, yeah,
don't
2
sleep.
people. That means
I don't think I really need.
But you won't need to set it up
Or
if
you
you're
need, like,
sleeping
2 hours.
inside the
Like
dungeon.
a short rest is.
I think we just sleep
I
inside the
do like
dungeon.
I can sleep on
meditation,
top of
yeah.
someone, then we can fit 4 people on it.
You also have to have some reasonable amount of comfort to get your long rest.
All right, we're sleeping outside tonight.
And we're sleeping in.
no,
In
in
the
it.
dungeon.
What was the point of finding a tent then?
I don't
No.
know.
The point was like sleeping on top of each other, laying crisscross so you can all be in the tent. That wouldn't be comfortable enough
Family
to
sleep
get a rest.
pile.
You got real close real quick.
It just saved us some money.
You can't get a full rest or a long rest if you're sleeping like the Crudes. I'll just put it that way.
All right,
Okay.
let's sleep.
Go back to the one room at the end of the hallway, or
The main room where the 2 is.
With the pitfall.
That was on the out. That 2 is on the outside of that, but yeah.
But it's enclosed. There's only stairs into it.
The room.
yeah, there's only one way in.
Still in the. It's like
Are you sleeping in the room with all the halls or with all the pillars? Or are you
Yes.
sleeping in the room with the pit trap? Which one do you mean?
Pillars. I don't want to sleep
Pillars.
next to the picture.
Okay. All I was saying then is that the Draconic 2 is on the outside of the room of the entrance hall. That's
Yes.
all I meant.
but it's still enclosed.
It is enclosed. Yep.
That's my
Especially if you close the door.
That's my point.
Okay. Are you going to have any kind of a watch schedule?
Same thing we always.
Yeah.
Same thing you always
Same
do?
thing we did.
I think you have a paper. That
I
says
do not
what-
remember what it was,
I
but we
do.
have something.
I do. I have it right here. So first watch, you have Farryn and Taèlios. Second watch, Thaèndrys and Morzza.
First watch, best watch.
Third watch is Zeldreth and Nyx. Okay.
But I'm also up during that third watch because I only
That's
have
right,
4
because
hours.
you don't need much time.
I
for
also
your...
only need 4 hours.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys on my watch, so.
Well, you're in the first watch though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you're asleep during the second watch,
Okay.
and then you're back up on third.
Okay. Let me think about something here real quick.
Uh-oh.
How many people can I attack in this watch?
Tornado attacks.
Let me see. Let me see your character sheet.
Some strange woman comes in. Thanks for...
He maybe said Coke woman.
And yours? Let me see your sheet.
Mine?
Yes, I'm looking at the two who.
I have dark vision.
I'm looking at. I'm looking at my short long rest people right now.
Yeah. Short rest for us is like we just like
Well then, wouldn't you guys
All
not
right.
be able to get your spells back then?
we only need 4 hours for that.
They're elves. Elves don't need much sleep.
Yeah,
No, it's my
awesome.
monk ability that gives it.
Oh, is that?
Yeah,
I thought it was
I
elves that did that.
meditate.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well,
maybe
you already
I'll
get it
fix
because you're an elf. So.
elves do that too, I think.
Okay.
You only need 2 now.
I don't have to. I'm awake for 26 hours a day.
I used to work down mill.
29 hours a day and pay me a little for permission to come to work. Okay, so each watch goes without incident. You're enclosed in a dungeon, and you've covered all these rooms and halls, and there's nothing roaming them. So there's nothing that no encounter or anything during the night. However,
Uh-oh.
I want.
Oh, I bet it's on the first one.
Here's what I want. I want 3 of you, and I'm going to let you decide
I got
who.
this.
I want 3 of you as you're sitting and contemplating on your respective watches. I want 3 of you to make either an intelligence check or a wisdom check. So not a skill check, just a straight intelligence where you roll and use your modifier. Add your modifier to
The
it.
modifiers over here.
And you can
Saving throws,
choose.
you have them.
I'm going to let you choose whether you
Oh,
use
here?
intelligence
Yeah,
or
that
wisdom.
should be it.
What do you? This is dumb. I got. He chose like my lowest one, so pony it down.
So we're allowed to choose
Okay.
the people
Wait.
with the best.
My wisdom is +4.
I'm going to let you guys choose.
My wisdom is +1. So we're
Wait,
Plus
are you
3
sp-
wisdom.
Quickly, you're
And
saying
my-
on each watch, right? You're saying
Or intelligence.
Doesn't matter.
Intelligence
And-
is
Doesn't
fine,
matter.
exactly.
Just pick
My-
just 3
my
of you.
intelligence is.
It shouldn't
If
be
I'll say
negative
this,
1.
if 2 of you are, if the ones you pick are on watch together, I'm going to let you roll with advantage because you would have been talking about it.
So you and I are watched together, but you and I are also up at the same time.
I have.
So if us 3 go, we have like advantage 10 times.
I have.
Eureka! The game is broken.
What do you have? What do
No,
you
you
have?
want you to take mine. Mine.
I have +2 wisdom. I'm with
I have
Thaèndrys
plus
too.
1 for wisdom and intelligence.
I have
I-
+3 wisdom.
Plus
I have
4.
+1 wisdom.
So us 3 here are the best, but I mean, unless who has better intelligence, someone has better
Just
intelligence.
you two, Donon.
My intelligence is poo poo.
Okay,
You can use wisdom.
but listen. So, but you 2 are on watch. Excuse me, are on watch together.
Yes.
Right.
I'm saying you can each roll with advantage. I'm not saying one of you roll with advantage. I'm saying if you were
So you both.
So yeah.
Let's do it.
Ooh, good
Nice
thing.
first roll.
Oh, this is much better. 14, so I have 18.
22.
Oh, yeah, you did
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
did pretty good.
Okay. Okay. While you guys are chatting on your watch,
Wait, we talk? I didn't want to talk with him.
you go off a little ways, let everyone else rest. Turn on the fan for some white noise.
Run into the tripwire on the main.
Accidentally wander into the tripwire.
Oh, it is a dragon. Ah.
Correct.
We fooled the DM. You walked right into our
You
plan.
already know where they are.
Yeah.
You know, you've already taken some of the fun out of these traps for me. But you're talking over the events of the last few hours in this place, and just running back over and talking about every aspect of it, including the key that you don't know what it, you talk about the Draconic symbol for 2. You talk about the key. You talk about the battles you've had and the items you found. And one of the things that you realize as you're talking is that while you were in this area that is out on the table right now, and maybe could you just set that up, since we never have put it up, at least just give as wide an angle as on this as you can.
A wide angle on the board.
The whole area, just as much of it as you can.
Do you want it closer, not close to
No,
them?
no. Pull back a little bit and just show what you can of this whole Y-wing.
Star Trek.
That's gonna be probably about as good as I can get.
That's fine. Just get it set up and. Okay. Yeah, that'll leave me a corner.
You got a few corners.
Yeah. You realize that as you were dealing with the fireball between the statues and the mystery of the other room with the skeletons and the coffin, and you're talking about that elf that you saw and everything, but as you start to think back on everything that went on in this series of 3 rooms, and it was broken with the kobolds and everything, but everything that went on there, some of the things that you were intending to do while you were in this area kept getting interrupted by other events. And you realize that you hadn't really searched everything you wanted to search in these
What did we
areas.
search? I swear we searched everything.
The pillars and the statues, maybe?
Maybe.
Not.
You realize that
Just tell us.
no. Honestly, okay. So let me say this, and then I'll slip into real mode here. What you realize is that for all the time in the end that you spent searching the larger room, you didn't do the same thing on the 2 smaller rooms, the ones with the statues. And now let me step out of narrative mode and say it was something you guys talked about doing, but it was at the end of session, and I needed to close it down, and I said, we can, if you want to do that, we can do it next time. But then it was the fireball and the searching the pillars and trying to figure out all that, and you got into puzzle solving mode, and something you said you wanted to do.
So it must have been the dragon statue.
I cut you off because of time. And so it is only fair that I give you an opportunity to do what you had asked to do. And so I'm trying to tell you as little as I can, but also give you a nudge towards what you had intended to do in the first place.
Okay, these
One second,
dragon
guys. Let me
statues
pull
we
up the
didn't
old
really
video.
expect.
Yeah.
But we got everything off of those.
Well,
Yeah, but we didn't like. I don't
If
think
we didn't search the size of the rooms or something?
We searched it.
maybe.
We,
No, we searched-
we searched around the rooms. We searched the pillars. We searched the statues.
Did we not go up the
Wait,
statues?
did
maybe?
we not check
Did
that
we not
one?
go up?
Because remember, we were
Climbed
in
the
this room
statues.
and we found the notes, but did we ever even go to that room?
No,
Was it
we
something
didn't.
about
We
putting
didn't.
gems
It's going this
into a
room.
dragon's
We already-
eyes elsewhere?
No, climb it up. The pillar.
Did we take the gems out of those dragons?
I think we did.
Yes.
But did we
I-
inspect the statues?
Guys, we didn't
Wait,
climb up
before we
that.
do
We
anything
didn't
else,
climb
though,
up those pillars.
For the long rest,
We
I'm
didn't.
memorizing. I'm swapping my spell. Just why I'm swapping the bless for detect magic. Just that's done.
Okay.
Also, we didn't check the statues. We talked about it, but we didn't check it. Climbing up the statues. That's what it is.
Well, we had to climb it up.
What's
No,
that?
The
I
gems
climbed. We
have
climbed.
it.
We climbed up.
No, no,
I'm talking
yeah,
about the
they got the
pillars.
gem.
The pillars. We climbed up
We
these.
got the- we
we
got the
didn't
eyes
do
in-
these ones.
We got the eyes out of that.
I'm
statue,
pretty
but-
sure we never
I
checked
climbed
that
up the
room.
Pillars, not
I'm pretty sure we checked this
statue.
room, but not that. Okay.
Okay, well we'll go back to these rooms.
I don't know what you're talking about now because we climbed these pillars and those pillars.
I'm pretty sure we didn't climb these.
That's how we got the notes.
We could climb
No,
these
shh,
ones.
Everyone.
You got the notes by climbing all of the pillars, all 8 of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
I want
whatever.
to inspect this statue right here.
Go ahead.
We did this already.
25.
It's as you have seen it already.
So we did.
Minus gems for
Let's
eyes.
check the room, then check all the way around it. Check the room.
We already did that. I know we did that.
I'm thinking.
check it
I don't
again.
think we did that room, but we can check this one.
We'll check it
first.
out. Just
Yeah,
go do everything again.
yeah. Check.
This was like over a month ago. I do not remember.
10 to 12. Not good.
And you were searching the
Just,
walls,
yeah,
you were
just the
saying?
walls.
Okay, you didn't find anything.
Maybe we're
We'll
gonna
go down to this one.
I
Check
think
the.
it had to do with the gems.
Are you doing, you doing this as a group or together?
Yeah.
Because remember,
Yeah.
2 of you can roll or 1 of you can roll with advantage.
I'm searching the statue. I got a 10. That'd be 13.
The one closest to me, which would be the north.
We did this already.
The statue, nothing. You don't notice anything.
We did
Different.
Can you
Other
check
than,
the
other than
mouse?
what
We
you
searched the
did.
Can you check
statues, the
inside the
pillars,
house?
and we also searched for secrets in the room.
Did we talk about putting the gems in the dragon eyes? Like
We
Yeah,
did
I'll
Check them
something.
out.
I know we talked about doing something with the gems, but I can't remember what it was.
We talking about like putting him or seeing if the. No.
Maybe we
Because
blocked them
all
out
the
with
all
the
those
gems.
statues had
Let me
had
just
stuff.
pull up the video and see what we were talking about.
All of the statues had gems in their eyes. We took them all out.
Can we check the room?
Sure,
that
go
one?
ahead. Roll with advantage or two.
We already did this.
15.
15.
I don't have.
And where are you searching?
Just the walls. Walls
Of
around.
this one?
Yeah.
I don't have
What
any
I'm calling the north room?
data down here.
Okay. As you're searching,
I was right.
as you're searching in that room, on the west side of the room,
That
which
one?
would be that one, you're running your hand along the walls, all of the walls, and you get to a point where you feel just a little seam as you run your hand right to left, and you begin tracing that out and feeling it, and you follow it up, and then you follow it over, and then you follow it back down, and you found something that is not the seam in between the bricks, vertical and horizontal. It's a different seam that runs up and then over like a doorway. But you see no handle, you see no hinges, you see nothing indicating
Keyhole.
how it might be opened. You do not see a keyhole on it.
Not this.
So just push it maybe then? Push in?
I ignore it because we already did this.
Can we put?
You did
I
not.
swear
You did
we
not.
did this.
You did not.
Well, that's why I wouldn't. That's why I wasn't thinking about it because I, swear we
I
already
will
did this.
happily run back through the scenario of what happened if you want me to, but you did not search this room this way.
Yeah.
By the time you got to this room to actually do searching, you were already in pillar mode because you'd already discovered the rings or the lines and the notes. And then you came to this room and did the same thing. Only
I'm not
with
talking about
respect to
that
the pillars.
session. I'm talking about the previous session.
And
before
that is where he wanted to search the walls. And I said, well, time-wise, we need to just wrap things up and we can do that next time and blah, blah, blah. And we went into that and then it didn't happen.
I thought you had a
So-
quick roll for it at the end.
I
of it,
did
which
not.
Is why
Nope.
I was under the impression that we had already searched all of these walls.
It was mentioned, the intent to do it was mentioned, and then I said, let's not do that right now. Let's leave it for now because we need to wrap this up. And
Okay.
so because of that, I had to do something to give you this option because I'm the one that basically cut it off before.
So, should we just push it then?
Yeah.
I'll throw it.
Yes,
Get
there's
the
a-
key
I
out.
throw
And
the
see,
key
get
out.
the key out and like touch it to the wall and see
Throw
if
it to the
anything happens.
You've got the key, right?
I don't know where the key. I don't think I
It
have
doesn't matter.
it.
We lost
Just-
the key.
If we push it,
Take
can
the
you just
key
touch it to the wall?
Yeah.
You can't find the key.
I found no key. There's no keyboard or anything. There's just a wall.
I look back
It
at
can
Tom and
be
say, "What are we
magic.
paying you for?"
It could be a magic key. I think we just stick
It's
it
like a
in, just
Pokemon. Magic
poke
key.
it, put it in, and see if it goes in.
What are you doing? I hear lots of voices. What are you actually doing right now?
Maybe we can touch it to the wall.
Just take
I
the
mean,
key
I don't
out.
know if it
Yeah.
does
Take the key
anything.
out and touch it to the door frame.
See if it
anything
reacts
happens.
to it anyway.
Okay, there is no reaction to that.
I say we push it then.
Yeah, let's
Yep.
push on the door.
So can we fit 2 people on it or more?
Sure, you could put a
Okay.
couple of people. Basically do the same thing that you did before, the 2 of you, and roll. I would want each of you to roll on this as you're pushing.
Okay.
Strength?
And is it athletics or just strength?
This is
No, I would hope it's
this is strength, not athletics. By the way, just so you know, and I may do a short video on this too. Athletics is climbing, jumping, and swimming. That's when you would use athletics, specifically those 3 activities. Anything else, bending bars, lifting a gate, the old 1st edition strength things that you have, those types of things are strength checks in this. So yeah, this is a strength check.
Okay.
What about
Huh?
acrobatics? I don't want to get us off.
Acrobatics is if you're trying to walk a thin, like a balance beam width type of thing, or you're trying to do a tumble and come out of it, dive and tumble to, that type of thing. Dexterous type moves,
Okay.
Okay.
Well, my
So
strength's not very high, so.
me and him, I think, have the highest strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll for it.
12.
You guys rolled awful.
That would be also 12.
You have +4. You have +6.
Yeah, plus 6, 12. I got
Oh
6.
yeah, you did.
Okay. You're pushing on it, and you feel it give just a bit.
Okay, so keep pushing.
Just keep pushing.
Okay, 20.
7.
He trips on his
I got a 1.
You 2 just can't get in tandem. You can't quite get.
Okay,
synced
now
up.
push. No, now you. Same time.
Yeah. It gives just a bit more. It is pushed in about an inch now.
Keep pushing then, I guess.
Is it pushing like a hinge, or is it just like
No,
the
the
wall
whole
itself?
door, the
We can
whole
get-
door is sliding.
Okay,
Okay.
The whole thing is it's like pushing a block
Yeah.
in Zelda. Okay.
11.
18.
They can't get it.
It goes about another inch.
I assume if there's a ledge, it will push all the way to the very edge of it before it.
Yes, it has to go all the way to the edge before it drops.
This is very good rolling.
I got 18.
I got 11. Same thing.
We just flipped.
You've pushed it about 3 inches now.
Okay, let's go again.
You would think the strength guys could pull it. Nope. Not
8.
happening this time.
All right.
16.
Let me take over.
Doesn't matter.
4 inches.
There we go.
Oh.
I could just tell you. I could just tell you that eventually you push it however far you might need to push it. But this is more fun.
Okay, 24.
9.
Okay.
He rolled a 20. He rolled a 3.
Okay. You rolled a 20.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But 24. But there are no crits on ability checks. So it goes almost 2 inches this time though.
Wow.
Steven,
I'm
Good
No,
job,
plus-
Steven.
yeah.
Only you had
4?
someone else helping you.
There we go. That's better. 17.
16.
Okay. So you push it just a little bit further, and all of a sudden, it drops into the floor. And you can see that there was it dropped into a gap in the floor, and it is now flush with that gap.
We're supposed to get that back out.
Okay.
Trying to think light source in here.
I have my torch.
Okay, torch those up then. In which case, with a little bit of light, because neither of you have dark vision,
So
I do.
lame.
Imagine-
Why are dragons
imagine
have
not
dark
having dark
vision?
Yeah. I think dragons should.
this door has, as it drops into the floor, it reveals a 10 by 10 room, and across west, across the room west is a door. You can see very clearly there's a door there, and on the wall on the south side there is a wheel inset into the wall.
It's time to
That's
control
like
the
you
ship.
go back
Alright.
up. That's
Checking
like
for
you go
traps.
back
We can keep walking forward through.
I'll have my lights go in. Or we have a torch. Or someone will light
Yeah,
it.
and this is only a 10 by 10 room, so it doesn't take a torch fully lights it. No problem.
And we'll check for traps as we're walking.
Yeah.
As we're walking, keep walking and take the 10 by 10
Just
room.
go ahead and roll. It's just one roll for a 10-foot area.
20.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't find anything.
You mean 100 square feet?
Then
Okay. Does the
Well,
door
10 by 10. I mean,
does
sure.
the door in front of us have a lock on it? Is there a keyhole?
That's a good question. Let me see.
I would hope so.
Yeah, this, we don't. This is room that
Just throw the key on the ground like.
You open the
No,
door
this
and you find
stupid
another
key.
10 by 10 room.
It's just a bunch of 10 by 10 rooms in one.
It's the most exciting dungeon ever.
It's like that chess minigame. You have to open the chest, and if you get it right, you go to the next room and open the chest. And
It is. This door does not have a locking mechanism. on it.
Maybe there's a chest that we can open. This.
the wheel on the wall.
It
Is,
goes
there,
round and round.
is it in the sky as well or no?
What?
I said, is it in the sky as well?
The wheel in the sky? Yes. It is in the
Yeah,
sky.
can we tell anything in the room?
Keeps on turning.
Can we tell anything like what the wheel would do? Like as we look at it, is there any hint of like mechanism that would tell us what it does without us actually using it?
You can go
Let's look
ahead
for traps on it.
You can, if you want to look closely at it, you can make a perception check. If you want to try to think about what it's doing and draw deductions from what you're seeing.
I
make
mean,
an
what I'm
Might open the door.
what I'm guessing is is it maybe like brings the other door back up and then like locks it, but I don't know.
Or just brings the door. To bring
Oh,
the
like
door.
perception check. That's 14.
What you just said, you think is a reasonable conclusion that it might be a way of resetting the door without trying it. You don't know.
I want to try to spin it just a little ways.
Okay, make a strength check.
Maybe you should have done it.
What do I have to get above the number I have or below?
You just need to tell me what you get.
4.
You
chip a nail.
You grab that wheel and you turn it one direction and it doesn't budge, and you turn it the other direction and it doesn't budge.
Can we open the-
I push him aside and say, "I'll do this."
I'm gonna stand
this
outside
is-
the room while I do this.
Can we? Does the door have a handle on it? The door in front of us? Like, can we
Yeah.
open?
The door across this room is a standard door.
Let's just open the door for now.
I mean, standard for this dungeon. It's still made of the same material.
Like we should
Checking for traps.
We should have a
before.
couple people stand outside the room and make sure it doesn't like reset while we're inside of the room.
Fine. I should have someone
Okay.
stronger outside.
While we open or try to crank whatever we're doing.
We're not thinking. Just open the. I'm saying.
Okay, just open the door.
Check the door for traps.
Yeah.
7.
That's good.
If more of you were checking, one of you can roll, or you can roll with advantage.
It'll be 10.
Good job, guys.
You don't see any
You're about
evidence
to
of
get poisoned.
traps on the door.
I could do
In-
it
in
since
your
I have the most
expert
spells.
opinion?
I could do
Alright,
it since I have the most
open it.
spells.
I can open it.
Open it.
Open it.
You're opening.
The door. The next
door.
door after we came to the 10 by 10 room.
Okay. I'm trying to think light source right now.
Torch.
We have a torch in there.
Do you have it up there with them? I'm trying to see. You can't see anything if it's dark, and it is as you open the door. But where is the torch? Where are you? Are you up there with him as he opens the door? Because you guys were just talking about being outside
Yeah.
this room.
Some
I
of
was kinda
us.
outside the room, but I can pass the torch forward to
So
Next.
who wants to stay up front and who wants to stay in the
I'm
back?
gonna be up front.
I'll be
Okay,
up
you
front
have the
with
torch
them
now.
before.
I gave it to you.
You have the torch and you're up front with him. Okay. And you're opening the door.
Yep.
Okay. You open the door and it opens in. You push to open.
Mhm.
Okay.
No, we try to.
Okay, fine. School for the gifted. You try to pull first and it doesn't work. And then you push it in, and with the light, you see that there's going forward from the door. There's 10 feet of wall, and it opens into a room. And you hear running. You can tell running toward you.
Actually,
Good thing we got that long rest in, right, guys?
it's time to
We
shut the
retreat
door.
back to the.
We didn't get
Yeah.
the long rest in, did
We're
we?
gonna go back to the.
I stayed with them.
We're gonna go back to here.
Okay.
Leave the door open. But head back to there.
Leave the door open.
Do we all hear this?
Oh yeah, it's loud.
All right, so I'm
Wait.
ready an arrow.
Are we leaving the lights in there, like your lights, your lantern, so we can see as he comes in?
Yeah,
I
think
can
we should.
cast him as I run out.
That's not like a dog.
Yeah. We're going back. We're going back out to the main room.
Okay.
So should we set up how we're going around the door?
And how?
What?
I mean,
What's your? Yeah, I know. I know. I want to get a sense of where everybody is,
I'm
or
in
what you're
front.
doing.
I think what we should
And
do is surround it, so when he comes out, all of us, like 4 of us, can attack him. Is that like?
So you and me. This
Wait.
is you, right? So we were the ones who were back in here.
Caleb and I were right here.
Wait, where would I be?
The entrance is just a
Would I
5 foot
be in
you
square.
guys are back, and you
And
guys
I'm like,
you four.
Would I be
Over
in
here,
here or
so
would I
I'm
be
like-
out?
Well, we all run out after. I mean,
Well, yeah, I'll just be like right here, I guess.
So when we run out, I'm assuming you would want to like stop.
Yeah, I would wanna
We'll
stay
be
there.
yelling, get out of the way, something's coming, whatever.
I'll be right
I'm gonna
there.
go
So-
back to. I'm gonna go back to the group because I'm not gonna be in the front.
can
Obviously.
we have it where
Okay.
if he comes?
Turn this towards where you are. Back it up a little bit. Pretend there's the 10 by 10 room that you can see right there. Yeah, I like that. That's perfect.
Where's the battle?
Okay, so you're not in combat right now. So
And as I go, I'm gonna cast these things, and they'll sit in that room.
I'm gonna back
Okay.
up.
So it'll be
because I'm
dimly lit.
using a bow.
okay,
I don't need to
And
be
That's
so
your
just each
key.
of them on a
Right.
square. So.
and the
Around
torch
a little bit.
you
I'm
still
still
have.
holding it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the torch has
Make sure we can all attack
I'll be in
him.
the
the
middle.
torch
I have no
has
stealth.
20 feet of bright light radius, and then followed by 20 feet of dim. So between that and these, if you're throwing them up in there, there's plenty of light. And as you
I'm expecting some like hand fist movements.
Oh,
here
this is a
from
big
you.
base.
Oh yeah. Going all
I'm
sorts
thinking a
of
bigger
stuff
guy.
on this guy.
and as you
I'm gonna use my key
Oh, I
points.
saw that.
as you back up,
Oh god.
You troll.
Troll. No, it's an ogre.
you see
Or
this
Cyclops.
running at you.
It's a zombie.
Did you paint that?
I did.
Is it a zombie thingy?
Let me see.
You've heard of ogres before,
Yeah, no.
and you've heard of zombies
In the
before.
dungeon.
This seems to be a combination of both.
I got a
Zombified
present-
ogre.
present
We
for
should
this
get
guy.
fire. We should get fire.
You can see it doesn't have the typical the greenish hue of ogre flesh is barely remaining in it, and it's mostly a dull sickly gray, but parts of it have been stripped away or rotted away, and you can see some of its insides, and it looks torn up and cut up, and parts of it have fallen away. Doesn't seem to have phased it, and it's not very happy that you're there, and it's rushing at you. And I think that's where we're gonna end this session.
That's a crappy end.
Oh.
It's a cliffhanger.
You being serious right now?
Tom's got to go. He's got to work early in the morning.
Oh, this is
Keep
cool.
in mind that unless this doesn't work in the plan, so we're always second and fourth Tuesdays, but we're also talking about having a big session on Sunday the 16th too, with the food and all. Yes, that's still a go. Is that
Should still be okay on my end.
okay? All right. Well then, we'll end it there. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope you join us next time, which for us is in a couple of weeks. And the video will be on YouTube, but it should be fun. A whole episode here of looting kobolds, almost. But next time we start off with what probably is going to be your first serious battle of the game. So
Guess it's a good thing we took a long rest, huh?
we will see how it goes.
We didn't get to finish the long rest, did we?
Yes, we
Yes,
did.
we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, it is.
We're all back
It
to
is
full.
very good that you took a long rest. I was curious to see how that was going to turn out. What decisions you made, how you decided to go about that, knowing that this was likely in your future. So we'll end it there. Thanks again. See y'all next time.